Welcome to
Monday with the Mavens.
This week, if you saw our stories, as Haley said, we're talking about quick, hot, and dirty tips.
Hot and dirty tips to get you through the Thanksgiving week and keeping you on track while you do it.
Yeah. What do you got going on there, sister?
We had a little bit of like attachment. Our hair has like this attachment style. I also have a timer, you guys. I said earlier that we were going to keep it short. We were going to keep it fast. Yep. I'm holding us to 15 minutes, so I'm going to set the timer.
Okay, and maybe we'll do it under 15. We recognize your guys' time is limited, just like ours, but we really want to be able to dive in and give you some tangible, usable tips. One, to any holiday, any meal, any celebration, anything, this is going to be applicable information. But there's a couple things you can do so that you can enjoy yourself, you can have a whole lot of fun, and you can stay on track with your goals, and so that you don't feel like you're sabotaging yourself. Because sometimes when you have one off day, that can start a snowball effect, and that does not need to happen.
Yeah, so, there's no reason to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Like, who does that? Right?
Like the saying, nobody's throwing the baby out.
That's just a weird saying.
We got to stay on track.
Okay.
So anyway, you guys, let's cut to the nitty gritty right away. Sometimes some people who are on a macro plan or who are on a nutrition plan and the holidays come, thanks. They will just not track on a specific holiday. Thanksgiving, for instance, that's this week. That's okay. If you choose to do that, that is totally fine. It is your prerogative. You're a grown up. You can make those decisions. And then you just need to start fresh the next day. What ends up happening oftentimes is some people will not track on Thursday, whatever, Thanksgiving. And then that in turn causes them to lose steam. Yeah. And then it makes it that much easier to not track the following day either. We don't want that to happen. Like, if you're on a plan, we would like you to at least make your best educated guess on what you're eating. Thanksgiving dinner is actually pretty macro friendly.
It is.
There's usually a pretty good portion of protein. Sorry, my kids are in the background a little bit distracting me, but either turkey or ham or whatever it is that your family eats, there's usually a pretty good protein options and then some pretty good complex carbs options also, whether it's sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, green beans, whatever that looks like for your family.
Yeah. And so I think the first question you ask yourself is, do you intend to track? And if you don't intend to track, which is completely okay, you want to at minimum be mindful. So just set yourself up for success. So I say, let's tackle that first. You're going into Thanksgiving, you're on a macro plan, you're currently tracking, you're doing great, but Thursday or whenever you celebrate Thanksgiving or whatever celebration you may be doing, you want to be able to have some freedom. The great news is that even when you track, you can have freedom. But let's say you choose not to. Here's just some quick tips.
Choose not to track,
Choose not to track. Here's just some quick things that you can do. Number one, you are going to want to prioritize your protein earlier in the day. Yeah. Protein's going to be the hardest thing oftentimes for you to get. Like Haley said, Thanksgiving lends really nicely to that, but it's so easy to get your carbs and your fats in, especially if you have favorite things. Also, know what's going to be there. Bring something that you enjoy that's going to help you stay on target, that's going to help you stay satiated. If it's something that you can, like if it's a gathering that you can bring something to, or if you're providing the gathering, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like if you want to say like what's all going to be on the menu, you can plan a little bit. If you have a favorite dessert, if you have favorite rolls, if there's a favorite dish, don't deprive yourself, like work them in, but work it in, enjoy it, and don't turn 1 into 5. It doesn't have to be that complicated because our plan is not about deprivation. It is about being able to have the freedom to fit the things in that you want, but also know how to fuel your body so that you don't feel deprived, but that you're doing the best thing you can for your body and your brain. So step number 1, make sure you are eating protein earlier in the day. If you're going to have a large meal, try to probably have a little bit less than you typically would for breakfast or lunch, or for breakfast if you're eating kind of a dinner later on. And so it's okay to combine 2 meals into one and making it bigger. I have a bunch more, but I'll let you jump in there.
Yeah, and so another thing to think about also is if you know what is going to be served, then think about your day ahead of time. Don't wait until it is time for your big feast to be like, oh shoot, I'm just now starting to think about it. So if you know you're going to have a glass of wine or a glass of champagne or pumpkin pie or any dessert for that matter, there is no shame in saving your macros. I do it all the time when I'm tracking. I will make sure that I have a protein-packed breakfast, and I may save a bunch of carbs and a bunch of fats for what is coming later on in the day, whether that is dessert or a glass of wine or whatever that looks like for you specifically. You can totally save your macros. Eat, as much protein as you want in the beginning of the day, or fats or carbs or whatever, in order to make your evening meal work. Now, I think that pre-tracking Thanksgiving is really a great idea, you guys. If you pre-track ahead of time.
Wait. Let's finish the no tracking and then go into tracking.
Oh, it's just so hard to stay on track.
I know.
For us, not like.
I know.
So anyway, just, you can save carbs and fats for later in the day. So be mindful. Think about protein early in the day. I don't know what is happening in my kitchen. Is it a human? Oh, it's my son.
Oh,
I thought you left.
I did too.
There's moisture on my window from Maurice.
There's what?
Inside.
Oh, just grab a towel out of the laundry
so I'm
room.
gonna keep
Sorry.
talking. So we're talking about if you're choosing not to track on that day. So far we've talked about protein. Sotar.
It's a Raft brand.
Yes, it is. We've talked about being aware and mindful of your protein, being aware and mindful of your portions earlier in the day, making sure that you are planning to bring something or knowing what is there so that you can fit in the things that you really like. The other thing, you guys, that's really big is hydration.
It's my dog.
It's a fun day around here.
Really great.
If you, and this is important every day, all of these things are important every day, honestly, but if you can really be mindful of staying hydrated from the start of your day to when you enter your feast, it's going to help with satiation, it's going to help with cravings, it's going to help with digestion. You guys, water is your best friend. So make sure that you're really staying hydrated before you're going into that meal. It's going to help you make less spur of the moment choices. And so it's really just about mindfulness, right? Like fit the things in that you want, make sure you're still getting your protein in, make sure you're staying hydrated, maybe eat smaller meals or less meals earlier in the day, know what's there, plan ahead, and you can really enjoy it, have a great time with family, have the foods that you like. Just know, if you don't track and you are a little off, and let's say that maybe you fill your carbs and fats with more type sugar and alcohol type items, which is completely your prerogative. I'm definitely going to have a piece of pie and who knows what else on Thanksgiving. Just know the following day or following days, you will likely have more inflammation in your body, especially if you're not having as many of those things. The scale will spike. It's not necessarily all fat. You have to eat an excess of roughly, for the average person, 3,500 calories in excess.
Above your
maintenance to gain a pound of fat. So just know, though, that the scale will likely be up. If you jump right back in the next day, hit your numbers, hit your water, move your body, prioritize sleep, your trajectory will continue on a great curve. It just will.
Okay, so on that note of moving and all of those things, a couple other things that you can do. Sorry, I'm like only half on Insta.
We got Insta and Facebook.
Yeah, and I've threatened for years that we're going to change that, and someday we will, but not today. A couple other things to think about is, and this might be getting a little bit too much into the weeds, but I think that it's important to say anyway. If you order your foods, not order like you're going to take somebody's order, or you're going to like, sorry, this is my dog. The order in which you eat your foods also makes a difference on how your body will process your foods. So just like in the mornings, how we say prioritize protein, you also, when you're eating a meal, if you can start your meal with protein or complex carbs, don't bite my shirt. That is going to, this was really helpful. Thanks. That is going to really help your digestion, and it's going to keep your blood sugar stable throughout the meal. And so what you don't want to do is you don't want to start your meal with something that's really high in simple carbs, whether that is like a big piece of bread or a roll. Unless you have like some butter and meat on that roll, then that would be okay. But start with protein and a complex carb, whether it is sweet potatoes, green beans, some kind of fruit or vegetable, salad, or protein, because that is going to help to keep your blood sugar stable throughout the meal. And so then later on, you won't have the spike. And then to piggyback on top of that, the other thing you can do, because Thanksgiving oftentimes does have more carbs in it, maybe than some people eat normally, go for a walk, you guys. After your meal,
Move your body.
One of my favorite things about Thanksgiving is my family all goes outside. Are you looking for another animal? Oh, she's looking at the timer.
Or another
is
animal.
my family, we have 5 minutes, my family will oftentimes go outside and go for a walk, all of us together. I love that. It's never far or anything like that, but it is just like getting outside, getting your body moving after a big meal. I know a lot of times, I remember as a kid after Thanksgiving, like being so full, like filling myself up to the point where I was stuffed and then just wanting to like lay around. And then I blame it on like the tryptophan and the turkey or whatever. But it's like, come on,
Just plan to move.
Just plan to get up and move your body a little
throw
bit.
The football, throw the frisbee,
Or play a
do
game.
a fun game.
Yeah.
Like, it actually really adds to Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
like
totally.
it just can make it so fun, like, whether there's kids or not.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, totally.
even, Easter, I think back to before any of us had kids, and we would do this big Easter egg hunt after we ate, just as adults, like, because it's fun and it's fun to run around.
Yeah.
And so you can turn anything into an experience.
Yep.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of that is applicable whether you're tracking or not tracking. But on the non-tracking component, just really be mindful. Protein, water, movement, sleep, jump and bite back in the next day is really what it comes down to. Ooh, we got a big thumbs up over here.
Wow, that's like, it's in a bubble. Wow,
I've never
that's
seen
cool.
such a thing. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. Yeah, we really like that. We love it when you guys interact with us.
Yes, we do. Okay, the next thing is if you plan to track, this one's going to be super simple. Basically, it's the same. We always want our clients to pre-track. And what that means is the day before, the week before, the morning of, whenever it is, you're going to go in and you're going to pre-track what you're going to eat so that you hit your assignment. By assignment, if you're one of our clients, you know what that means. You're going to have an assignment for that week. It's likely going to be modified over time. Have a calorie assignment and a macro assignment for carbs, fats, and protein. We want you to hit that within plus minus 5 grams every day so that we can really work with your base metabolic rate as we are implying change to your metabolism. It's a beautiful thing.
Implying? Applying?
Applying.
As we are changing.
Implying works.
Implying is another word.
Yeah.
No, it's,
She does have like a master's in English.
yeah. Well, not technically in English, but anyway, we want to affect your base metabolic rate. And how we do that is by increasing calories slowly over time.
Or decreasing. We have a whole process. All of that is to say that pre-tracking, then what you do is you just eat what you're going to have. And that's going to set you up for success because you're going to know if you want to fit in that piece of pecan pie.
That's a whole other debate. Is it pecan? Is it pecan?
If you want to fit that in, if you're going to want a glass of wine, if you're going to want one of Grandma Edith's beautiful rolls, whatever it may be, you're going to track all of those. And then you're just going to know how you're going to work around it. You're going to know earlier in the day, okay, like this is what I really want this afternoon. So this morning, I'm just going to have 1 egg, 2 egg whites, a little bit of zucchini. I'm going to keep it like light, maybe a 2 Goods yogurt, a ounce of grain-free granola, whatever it's going to be that's going to allow you to work around that. You still hit your numbers. You might be utilizing more inflammatory foods than you typically do, but your body's going to bounce back so much faster because you're going to be having that same caloric intake that it's adjusted to.
Yeah.
And so it just makes it super simple. Just pre-track and know what you're going to have so that you know you can fit the things in.
Now, another thing on that too, and I don't suggest this to a lot of people. I tell a handful of my clients, it might feel a little bit overcomplicated, but it's actually more simple. If you are tracking, sorry, my dog is like a land shark. He's like biting my hands. If you are tracking, if you hit your protein goal, that is number 1, right? You can flex your carbs and your fats. So if you stay within your calorie boundary and you hit your protein and then you make sure that you hit your calories, so that means that your carbs and your fats might be a little bit wonky, but they're still within the boundaries of your calories. That is okay also. That's another way to go about it, to where you will be pretty close on hitting your carbs and your fats, but you're not going to be blowing that calorie number out of the water, and your protein should be on target. That's another way you can do it. So gives you a little bit more flexibility if you would rather have an extra glass of wine than having the carbs, or if you would rather have more carbs than more fats.
Ooh, you guys, we are getting close. We handy con. Ralph.
Frank?
I like to call him Ralph. You guys, she's got the cutest animals here, and I thought you might need to see them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about what to do if you don't plan to track.
Conway
and this
Twitty.
Is Conway, and this is
Ow! Samson.
Frank, otherwise known as Ralph.
Samson, stop!
Okay, so we talked about what you do when you are not planning on tracking. We talked about the simplicity of pre-tracking. This is a circus in here today, and we're just here for it, and we love it. The last thing, because we have less than a minute, is that we're just super grateful for you guys. In our client Zoom this morning, which we do with our clients only every Monday, we really talked about how to strategize for joy and how important that is, even for your health. It's not just something fun to say. And I know both for Haley and I, all of our coaches for that matter, like we are just so incredibly grateful for this community, for your willingness to share us, for your willingness to hop on and be educated and change your life and make an impact. And like we pinch ourselves that we get to do this, and it's because of you. So practice some gratitude today, you guys. It's super powerful. Have an amazing Thanksgiving.
There's
our
the timer.
timer's up. We're going to call it good.
Yep. We love you guys, and
Big
we'll
time.
see you hopefully, we'll see you next time.
Mucho grande. We love you, mucho grande.
Wow. Okay. Bye.
Bye.